Residential market analysis and highest and best use. Page 3. Navigation. To navigate through the course pages, you click on the arrow buttons on the lower right part of your screen. Or you may use the spacebar to advance. You may also navigate backward to previous completed sections of the course by using the links in the course outline to the left of your screen. You may go anywhere that has already been completed. At the top right of the screen are several important links. This shows like email instructor, documents, help, back to my courses, and notes. Email instructor. Use this link if you have any questions on the course material that you would like to ask the instructor. Documents. Use this link to download any necessary course materials or course handouts. Help. Use this link if you are experiencing technical issues. For instance, your computer is not working, the pages are not advancing properly, or you're having trouble viewing videos, etc. Back to my courses. Use this link to save your progress and go back to your student dashboard to log out. Notes. Use this link to take notes as you work your way through the course material. At the lower right of the screen, above the navigation buttons, is a leave a comment icon. This feature's intended use is to allow students to communicate with other students in the course. You can post comments for others to read, and you may read the comments that others have left before you. Please do not use the leave a comment section for questions for the instructor, as the instructor does not monitor the comments. If you choose to leave comments, please keep them professional. We do have people who monitor the comments, and any offensive or inappropriate comments will be removed. McKissock reserves the right to expel students without credit or refund for leaving offensive or inappropriate comments. If you find inoperable hyperlinks in the course materials, please inform McKissock's typical support staff by emailing customer support at vchelp@mckissock.com. Inoperable links are most likely the result modifications made by the owner/developer of the linked website after the development of this seminar. Please do not use the leave a comment link at the bottom of the page to report broken or inoperable links or to communicate with the instructor. The course instructor does not monitor these comments. Reporting inoperable links in this section will not get them fixed. End of page. Course completion. Page 4. To complete this course and receive completion certificate and course credit, you must successfully complete the following. Read all course chapters and pass all end of chapter quizzes. Take and pass the proctored course final proctored examination. The Appraisal Qualifications Board, AQB, of the Appraisal Foundation requires that you complete a proctored final examination for any distance learning qualifying education, for instance, pre-licensing or upgrade course. You may choose a live proctor or an e-proctor depending on your state requirements. Exemptions are Florida, Georgia, and Illinois. We recommend you confirm with your state's regulatory agency which form of proctor is required. Proctor qualifications. A proctor is an approved person who administers an exam and upholds the integrity of the exam taking process. It is the student's responsibility to find their own proctor. Short of providing suggestions of types of people who could be asked, Ms. McKissock cannot provide any further assistance in finding a proctor. For guidelines on who is an eligible proctor, see below. Examples of people who could serve as a proctor would be librarians, teachers, police officers, community volunteers, religious leaders, or someone who works in the public service industry. Ineligible proctors would be family members, your supervisor, your coworker, or someone with whom you intend to be employed. The important thing to remember about a proctor is to choose someone who does not have a vested interest in whether you pass the exam. If audited, you will not want your proctor choice to stand between you and your career. There will be additional details at the end of this course on registering your proctor. Instructions for scheduling your paper or e-proctor exam and additional proctor responsibilities. You may view the full proctor policy document here, which includes links to proctor FAQs. End of page. Page 5, the market overview. In order to be able to analyze a market, we have to know what we are looking for and how to name whatever it is we want to find. Terminology is important because there are specific words and phrases for the various segments of information we are about to use in the development of a credible conclusion for the assignment. Just as the medical and legal professions have their own fundamental terminology, so does the appraisal profession utilize certain words, terms, and phraseology to identify the steps for analysis and explanation of the resulting opinions. Some of this section may be a review for many appraisers. Nevertheless, a refresher of some of the more prominent definitions and terminology is always beneficial, even for the experienced appraiser. This section of the course will introduce or reintroduce some of these definitions and principles for the novice, as well as for the individual looking to upgrade his or her competency in the area of market analysis. Learning objectives. Upon completion of this chapter, the participant will be able to recognize the terms and basic principles of the market, identify basic appraisal concepts, classify types of values and property rights, the importance of accurately portraying the market and its trends for the property being analyzed cannot be overemphasized. Since most of our appraisal assignments require an opinion of market value, we need to look at those aspects of the subject's market area. Where is the property located? What defines the boundaries of the property's neighborhood? Is the neighborhood the same as the market area? What is the market telling us about the subject property's neighborhood? How are we to interpret the history of this neighborhood? What are the trends for this neighborhood? How much data do you really need for an appropriate analysis of the market area? These and other questions should come into your mind as you take a good look at the neighborhood. One of the first things we must talk about is the market itself. What is the market? Many appraisers will attempt to describe what they think it should encompass. But let's stop and think about the word market. A market is simply a place where goods and services are exchanged. The definition of market, as taken from the Illustrated Dictionary of Real Estate Appraisal by Henry S. Harrison, is said to be a series of conditions that facilitates the bringing together of buyers and sellers in a particular market. There is a free exchange of the product. Some markets, like the stock market, are regional and national. The market of real estate tends to be local. Markets come in all sizes, but whatever the size, there is a free exchange of a product or a service. A market may include the entire community or be as small as a single block. The stock market may be national or regional in scope, while the subject property's market area may be significantly smaller and is defined by the appraiser. The following definitions come from the Dictionary of Real Estate Appraisal, 6th edition. Neighborhood: a group of complementary land uses, a congruous grouping of inhabitants, buildings, or business enterprises. Market area: the geographic region from which a majority of demand comes and in which the majority of competition is located. Depending on the market, a market area may be further subdivided into components such as primary, secondary, and tertiary market areas. Or tertiary market areas, I don't know. Or the competitive market area may be distinguished from the general market area. District: a neighborhood characterized by homogeneous land use. For instance, apartment, commercial, industrial, agricultural. Having identified the market, it must be noted that the market is what it is. Don't get tunnel vision here and think the market is only your little corner of the community. The market is really a universe of data with many sources. The media talks about today's global marketplace. Television advertisements constantly tell us of the global business concept and encourage us to think globally rather than focus only on the local marketplace. The point of those advertisements is to get the viewer to realize that the little businesses of today can reach out to so many other customers. Businesses of today do not need to limit themselves to physical boundaries or the restrictions placed upon them because of the locality in which they are situated. The internet has advanced their capabilities to do a greater amount of business on a much larger scale because of the global implications associated with the internet. Businesses now have the ability to provide a product or service over a much larger area. Many of the businesses of today can and do think in terms of global appeal and consider their marketplace to be national or international in scope rather than local or regional. So it is with the market for appraisers and their ability to gather and process data for the valuation of properties. There is a limitless supply of data out there for the appraiser to tap into. With the presence of the internet, the appraiser is now able to conduct research on a much broader scale. By using the internet, the appraiser finds himself or herself in a much better position to support findings gathered from the marketplace. Thanks to the internet, much more information is now available to the appraiser. There are many more sources for the essential information used to analyze the marketplace and its trends. And the appraiser can provide much more support for his or her opinions and conclusions relative to specific value considerations. In years past, the appraiser frequently was handicapped by a lack of reliable data from the local marketplace. Decisions were arrived at using the limited data sources available within the local market area, which may not have provided accurate enough information. Appraisers spend hours on the telephone trying to find data to develop a credible value opinion for an appraisal assignment. The more complex the assignment, the longer the data trail appeared to be, and many times that trail had to be expanded in scope. Research beyond the local or regional market area was a hit or miss thing. Depending on the personal contacts of the appraiser or the willingness of another appraiser to share data and/or information sources. Today, with the World Wide Web, the appraiser literally has the world at his or her fingertips. We all realize that we are not always going to use only internet-derived data for our appraisal assignments. However, we are going to have much more information available to us. Now, in many areas of the country, the appraiser can access various websites for assessment information. Copies of deeds, real estate tax information, and zoning information. We can obtain comparable sales information and much more, either by simply registering at some website or by paying a subscription fee for access to the information. All of this is available to you while you are sitting at your desk. In the case of that oddball assignment for which there is no local comparable data, we now have a viable source for the required data. There are several appraiser-oriented web-based message boards which the appraiser can use to request data from other appraisers. One such message board is www.appraisersforum.com. The appraiser merely has to register so his or her name is on file. The forum is free, and there are many discussions going on all the time. There are multiple requests for appraisal data from appraisers all across the country. This interaction among appraisers can only serve to enhance the quality of individual appraisal assignments because of the availability of information from a much wider market area. Appraisers helping appraisers and sharing information via the internet is assisting many of us to accomplish assignments that we previously would have had to turn down due to insufficient data for proper analysis and valuation. End of page.